You are now listening to Cryptid Cocktail Party. Creatures, let's meet for a drink. It's a treat. Join us in the fight. Cryptid Cocktail Party. Cryptid Cocktail Party.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Cryptid Cocktail Party, a show where we have a few drinks, share a few laughs, take a dive into the unknown. I am your host, Dave. I am not joined by Sarge today, but instead, I have a very special guest. I am joined today by fan favorite Colby Clark. How's it going, buddy?
Ooh, I'm doing good, buddy. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, not a problem, man.
Love you, Sarge.
Yeah.
I hope you're having fun adventures.
Actually, I think he's on an adventure. I think he's like up in New Hampshire, like hiking or something like that. I really don't know, but
He's just at the DMV.
maybe, I don't know. But yeah,
On a Sunday.
I'm so glad you're here, man. It's been a long time since you've been on.
Yeah, it has been. I know. How long are we thinking? Like in terms of episodes, how many have you done so far?
In terms of episodes, it's a lot.
Yeah, I
I
know.
You probably haven't been on. It's been over a year since you've been on, Colby.
Too long.
Too long.
Too long. Way too long.
So what's been up? What's going on with you? Anything new? Anything fun? Anything exciting?
I mean, played a very sick show at Henniker Brewing. I got our logo on a fucking beer, which is very cool.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, we do have my band Lanterns has a new drop coming soon, which I think you're gonna like, and maybe the listeners of Cryptid Cocktail would like. So that's it. Yeah,
Maybe. Whatever, dude. You know.
maybe.
First of all, now's not the time to plug your shit. All right, wait till the end.
So early.
You fucking self-serving bastard. All right, I get you in front of an audience, and you're just like, it's all about me, baby.
That's what I've been up to, though. I guess hanging out with my wife. She's
Hell yeah.
lovely.
I love that. I love that. For
What
you.
have you been up to?
Oh, you
How have you
know,
been?
I'm going to Japan. So this is my last episode before I go to Japan. I'll be gone for like 3 weeks. So
Very cool.
it's
Very,
not bad.
very fucking cool.
It's not bad. It's gonna be fun.
No.
I'm gonna get fucking hammered
Yeah.
in Japan.
You should.
I'm gonna be a
Are
problem.
you gonna do sake bombs?
I don't know. I don't think that's a Japanese thing. I think that's like an American thing that we took. Like we just did that.
100%. Definitely American thing. We bang on the table and they're like, shh.
Yeah.
Quiet.
I feel like that's
Why
not
are you
a
so loud?
Yeah, I don't think that's a thing that they do. But yeah, no, I'll it'll be fun.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you got some awesome shit planned. I'm sure your wife is super excited.
Allie's taking care of most of all this is like her like she's all gung ho about it. She's taking care of most of the stuff that we're gonna do. I only had two things I wanted to do. One of them we might not do it because it turns out it's way far away from everything that we're like where we're staying. So, but
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
it's gonna be fun. I just don't worry about it. All right.
That was the same thing that happened to me when we wanted to do Twin Peaks stuff.
Well,
We didn't do any Twin Peaks stuff.
well, Colby, this is kind of Twin Peakies in a way. This episode, not really at all. But
The old bait and switch.
you've been to the great state of Washington, right?
I have, yes.
Yeah, that's where Twin Peaks takes
Recently.
place, right?
Yes and no.
Okay,
yes, they did like some filming there,
I didn't mean
but
film.
then apparently it happened somewhere else. But
Does it take place there, or no?
the in the make believe land of Twin Peaks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Actually, I'm a terrible fan. Let's say for this episode that it does.
Okay. Well, today we're going to be heading to the state of Washington.
Cool.
All right. Okay.
What they got going on out there?
All right. So, summertime on Mount St. Helens. You're familiar with Mount St. Helens, correct?
It's a mountain named after St. Helen.
God damn it. All right. So, somewhere on Mount St. Helens,
familiar.
the trails and woods are packed with hikers, campers, and families taking in the mountain air. You know, you got beautiful views, wind through the trees, the birds overhead. It's pretty peaceful. It's so peaceful that the wonder of it all almost makes you forget that you're standing on top of a violent, unpredictable force of nature that in the 80s decimated everything in a 30-mile radius of it. And that is kind of the wonder of nature. It just makes you forget that you're standing on a ticking time bomb.
Beauty and chaos.
But before the eruption, before the movie Dante's Peak, heck, even before 9/11, there was another story tied to this mountain. One that turned a quiet stretch. What? Your face.
I mean, I'm not sure of the timeline between when Dante's Peak came out and 9/11, but when 9/11 came out.
Okay.
But I'm gonna revert to you, the timeline expert, and I take back the face I made.
Yeah, but before all that, there was another story tied to this mountain. One that turned a quiet stretch of forest into a place where many were too scared to even enter. Because back in the summer of 1924, 5 miners claimed that they were attacked in the woods. And miners is in like...
Hold on. Yeah. Well, they're probably both underage and mining, I would imagine.
So 5 miners claimed they were attacked in the woods, not by men or by bears, but something else entirely. Something they said came out of the trees in the dead of night, and they were pissed. This week, Colby, we're going to be covering the story of the Ape Canyon attack. I assume you're not familiar with this at all.
I am not. I try to not familiarize myself with anything before I come onto this show.
Yeah, that's
because
fair.
It makes it a better experience. So, no, I've never heard of this.
Okay.
It sounds wild.
So, in the summer of 1924, a crew of 5 gold prospectors, Fred Beck, Marion Hank Smith, Hank's son Roy, Gabe Lefevre, I don't know, and John Peterson set out deep into the wilderness of Mount St. Helens to stake their claim near a small rise known as Pummy Butte, about 8 miles from Spirit Lake.
Pummy Butte.
Butte, baby.
I mean, if Jeff Beck and Brett Favre want to go on an adventure, who are we to stop them, you know? That's where he comes up with all his best material.
I just love that this dude's named Marion Smith, but he goes by Hank. Nowhere in that name would you get the nicknames Hank.
Very progressive of him. I like that.
So once they set up shop and named their claim, they dubbed it the Vander White Mine. And for the first few days, everything was normal. Then things started to get a little bit not normal. At night, the men started hearing what they described as a shrill, peculiar whistling echoing across the ridges. It wasn't the wind, and it didn't sound like any bird or animal that they could identify. I mean, like, these dudes are like rugged-ass fucking mountain men. They probably had a good idea of what animals were around, you know what I mean? Like, they should probably be able to identify them.
Mm-hmm. Marianne the Woodsman.
Marianne the Woodsman.
She knows. She's heard a bird.
Yeah. Then came the heavy thuds, almost rhythmic, like something was out in the darkness just fucking cranking its hog, dude. No, it was more like something like pounding on his chest, like kind of like how a gorilla does, or Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
And, you know what I'm talking about.
What, those car commercials?
Yes.
Could you imagine? Oh, he'd be bigger than life.
So it's not great. So that's what their nights were like.
Mm-hmm.
Then in the morning, they started finding footprints around their little cabin. And these were like enormous, like human like prints. They were 14 inches long and sunk deep into the soil. But they were way too big to be a man's. They were too flat to be a bear's. And they were spaced way too far apart for anything, really, unless like you're on stilts or something.
So it was like a human-sized foot, but the span that they were walking was really far?
Yeah.
Is that what we're talking about?
The footprint was 14 inches long, which is way bigger than a human, unless you're Shaq, I think. I feel,
Right.
yeah.
14
but they were
inches.
spaced very far apart.
14 inches. I feel like that's a nominal distance. That's not too far.
For a footprint? From heel to toe?
What if I was running?
We're not talking.
Right.
I'm not saying the 14 inches between the footprints. I'm saying the foot itself is 14 inches long.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm with you. All right.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So now armed with this information,
I got 10 and a halves.
Oh, I got 11s.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I have big feet for my height. I have hobbit feet.
So this is a great example.
You know what
This is a great example of how tracking can go wrong,
Yeah, but also it just means I'm fucking hogged out, dude. You know what big feet mean, dude?
I know what size socks you got. Could you imagine one of them hobbit penises? That's why they needed to make it back to the Shire.
Colby, you're making these faces. You remember this is an audio medium. No one can see the faces you're making.
Don't you don't do the
clips? You want to be clipped.
videos?
Oh, now you want to be clipped.
Yeah.
Right? Fuck. God damn it. You again self-serving.
I mean, can you just put together a compilation of me nodding a bunch?
I got
It's my downfall on podcasts is I feel like people hear me nodding.
All right, let's get back to the story. All right, so they were big, too flat to be a bear, spaced way too far apart for any thing normally. So now, armed with this information, the men did two things. One, they just laughed it off because that's what you do when you're a group of dudes in the middle of nowhere and you're trying to act like you aren't pants shittingly terrified. And two, started carrying their rifles with them everywhere because that is also what you do when you're in the middle of nowhere and you actually are pants shittingly terrified.
Yeah, I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick, but I'm going to take my rifle fully loaded with me when I go to the bathroom.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it went down.
Not for any particular reason.
Yeah, no, you never know, dude. I mean, there's clearly not bears here.
Just because maybe if there is, but I'm not scared.
Yeah, no. And it just keeps getting worse each night. Like the noises got louder and closer. And then to make things even worse than that, the whistling started to like overlap. Like one coming from the ridge to the east, another was answering from the west. And now they're starting to realize that whatever's out there, it's not alone. So now the tension and fear is at an all-time high. Like they were jumpy. They started sleeping with their rifles instead of just like carrying around with them during the day. And then one morning, while Fred, Beck, and Hank were out getting water from a nearby spring, shit got real. Now, across the small canyon from them, standing next to a pine tree, was a massive upright creature. Dark hair, broad shoulders, and close to 7 feet tall. And it was just fucking eyeing them, like staring straight at them. Beck and Smith froze for a moment. Then Hank did the reasonable thing and fired 3 shots at the thing. Now,
Right. As they do.
right? That's what I'm saying.
As we always do.
No, Beck swore that he hit it, but instead of like going down, it just kind of like ducked behind a tree, did a little peekaboo type situation, and then it just fucked off back into the forest. The two men, now terrified, admittedly terrified, not just pretending they aren't, decided that they should probably do the same and hightailed it back to camp, white as ghosts, rifles still in hand. And when they got back, they told the others what had happened, and everyone agreed that come morning, they should probably get up on out of there. But,
The hightail it.
yeah. Now, would it ever be that simple?
Not if it was a good Cryptid Cocktail episode. Hell nah.
So that night, the miners bunkered down in their little shitty cabin for what they thought was going to be their last night on the mountain. Nobody was really sleeping. They're just kind of laying there waiting for the first sign of dawn so they could grab their shit and get the fuck out of there. Then, sometime around midnight, boom! Just a fucking massive crash shook the whole cabin. Something had slammed into the outer wall so hard that it knocked the chinking from between the logs. now for like a split second, the men thought it must have been like a fallen tree, like something fell onto the cabin, or fucking the mountain was erupting. I don't know. That is until another massive crash hit from the opposite side. Then another, just fucking boom, boom, boom. Then the cabin started just getting absolutely pelted with rocks. Big ones too, like fist size and bigger. They were hitting the roof, bouncing off the walls from every direction. And it was relentless. Beck said later on that it was like being caught in the middle of a war zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They might have been, right? So, I mean, you got these two creatures trying to have a conversation. They're yelling slurs. They're mad at each other. They're pissed.
Oh.
And then these people right in the middle of it, right? And they're picking up their transmissions, and then they're like, you know what? Fuck these guys.
Do you think that
We're
maybe
gonna have an all-out war?
Do you think maybe these dudes were caught in the middle of like a Bigfoot like gang war, like a turf battle?
Bigfoot brawl.
A Bigfoot brawl.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
A Bigfoot brawl.
I don't
Could
know.
have been.
I mean, it could have been. I mean, it's not what happened, but I like the concept of
You're not right.
these dudes just catching
But I
strays.
appreciate your imagination on the subject.
I mean, it could be. Or maybe like they teamed up to fight I don't know. But anyways, when the men looked through the gaps in the logs to see who or what was causing all the hubbub, they saw what could only be described as not great. Just these fucking absolute massive shapes moving in the moonlight. There were 4, maybe 5 of them. Just massive upright silhouettes covered in hair and built like fucking refrigerators. And they were fast. Like they were just like spinning, like circling the cabin, just howling, pounding at the walls, throwing rocks. So the men grabbed their rifles and just started firing through any window, gap, or hole they could find. But it didn't stop the attack. If anything, it just pissed these things off.
Yeah.
One of the creatures then climbed up onto the roof and just started stomping and jumping like it was trying to cave it in. So Beck and Smith, they aimed straight up and just fired up through the ceiling. And whatever was up there let out a loud roar and rolled off the roof with a thud. But that didn't deter the other 3 or 4.
Fuck you, Harry Santa. You bitch. Get off my roof.
But it didn't slow the other ones down, because now they were pounding on the door so hard that the hinges were starting to like break away. So now Roy Smith, Gabe Lefevre, however you want to pronounce it, and John Peterson were piled up against the door, while Beck and Hank were ripping boards off their bunks to try and reinforce it. Then, out of fucking nowhere, one of the Squatches just fucking punches a hole straight through the wall. just fucking knocks a huge chunk of log loose. And through the hole came this massive hairy arm, and it's just like blindly reaching, trying to grab anything. Then, unfortunately, it got its fingers around the handle of an axe that was propped up against the wall.
Of course it did. They left it perfectly right there for Harry Hawaiian Punch Man to fucking... now he's armed with weapons.
Yeah, well, it started...
Perfect.
It started pulling like the axe through the hole, but Beck was like, well, no, you can't have an axe-wielding Bigfoot out there. So he grabs the other end and had a bit of a little tug-of-war session for a minute before finally ripping it free from the thing's grasp. And as soon as that happens, Hank runs over and then just starts fucking shooting point blank into the opening.
Yeah.
Hank's kind of a badass.
Yeah. You got to jump into action. And that was the time. I mean, you got an opening, take your shot. Shooter's got to shoot.
Exactly. Now, on the other side, the creature that was on the receiving end of the shots let out this like high-pitched cry, and then yanked its arm back through the hole, which is understandable. I get it. And this kept up for hours. Like every minute, there was another barrage of rocks that would hit, or something would slam into the walls, the door, and the men just stood their ground and returned fire whenever they caught a glimpse of their eyes shining in the darkness. Now, at one point, in a weird moment of, I don't know, desperation, loss of sanity maybe, Hank just started singing. I I don't know if it was...
My man.
Yeah. I don't know if it was something he was like improvising or if this is like an actual song. But the lyrics were, if you leave us alone, we will leave you alone and we'll all go home in the morning.
Oh, it's so good. What an improv line.
Right?
You think he came up, he just had that locked and loaded? Or you think he was just like, I got to make something up right now?
Like, I don't know if he was like trying to like calm himself down or if he was trying to like calm down the Bigfoots. Like, if he was trying to lull them into... I mean,
or maybe it was, the best defense is confusion.
Maybe just stun them long enough with your singing so you could fucking open fire on them.
Yeah.
Maybe that could be it. I don't know, but I'm sure you're not expecting this. It worked. The pounding, the rocks, the attempted roof collapse, like it all stopped as soon as he started singing songs.
I mean, if it didn't work, do you think it would be such a crucial part of the story? That would be amazing if like halfway through the story it was like, and this dude started singing and then they got crushed.
Well, I think it would be a very essential part of the story if he started singing the song and then he was the only one that got murdered almost immediately by a Bigfoot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Start singing the...
They're like, oh, what is that horrible sound? Kill it. Kill it more than we were trying to kill it before.
Right. They bring in other Bigfoots and it's no longer 4, it's like 16 now, and they just fucking quarter him.
Bring in the reinforcements. So this guy has a terrible singing voice.
But even though everything had stopped, the men didn't let their guard down for a second. Understandable. Like, they just stayed put, guns at the ready, just waiting for first light so they could get the fuck out of there. Now, when the sun finally cracked over the horizon, the forest was dead quiet. Like, they sat there for a minute and just stared at the door. They were probably expecting like another fist to come through it or something, but when nothing happened and all seemed clear, they unbarred the door and stepped out. The cabin looked like shit. There were rocks scattered all around. The walls were dented as shit. There was holes all in it. And there was just like chaos all around. Then Beck noticed something moving across the canyon. About 80 yards away, standing right on the edge of a cliff, was one of the creatures just watching them. Now Beck, not one to hesitate, raised his rifle, fired 3 shots. The creature staggered backwards and then just tumbled straight off the ledge and dropped nearly 400 feet into the ravine. And with that, they were like, all right, fuck that. They grabbed what they could and just got the fuck off the mountain, which is probably the smartest move they made so far.
I wonder how long that time period was between when all of the chaos stopped and then this creature just decided, you know what? I'm going to go do hot yoga on the side of this cliff and I'm just chill out for a little bit. And then all of a sudden he's finished his workout and he stands up and just pop, pop, pop. And then he falls 400 feet into a ravine. What a, like, you went so hard up until that. And then you just got clapped a couple times.
I don't know. But imagine, what if he wasn't even part of it? Like, what if he, like, what if that
that's better. Yeah.
He's just waking up along with the rest of the forest and he's like, all right, time to, just look out over the ravine. Oh, there's such a great...
He was the guy when the Squatches held their town meeting who was like, no, I'm all about peace, man. Let's not go after these guys. Maybe they're really nice. And they're like, no, fuck you, dude. We're going to kick their ass. And then he was in his hot yoga session and he was like, peace and love, and then just got fucking clapped off the side of a ravine.
He was the voice of reason in all of it, and he was actually going out onto the cliffside to make sure that the campers were still alive. And he sees them come out, sighs a breath of relief, and then immediately just gets popped 3 times. That sucks, dude.
You guys okay?
So they murked that dude, and then they got off the mountain, and they hiked as fast and as quietly as they could until they hit Spirit Lake, where there's like a ranger station there. So they barged in there, fucking dirty, exhausted, probably looking absolutely insane, and they told the rangers everything. The pounding, the rock throwing, the glowing eyes, the arm through the wall. The men called whatever was attacking them mountain devils, which, not going to lie, makes you sound insane no matter what, I feel like.
Yeah.
It's not a great, now, the ranger, to his credit, he did listen and, like, wrote it all down, but he didn't buy it. But he did admit that the men were clearly terrified, and whatever they had seen, it sure did spook them.
Mm-hmm.
When the men finally made it back down to Kelso, which is where they're originally from, word had already spread, like, within days. The newspapers had headlines like, "Fight with Big Apes reported by miners from the Oregonian," and others that read, "Gorilla men terrorize gold claim," and "Mountain devils bombard prospector's cabin." All pretty good headlines, if you ask me.
Yeah. Word travels fast.
And
son of a bitch.
And with all this media attention happening, this is where, you get the normal fun that begins. You got reporters, curiosity seekers, and would-be monster hunters flooded Mount St. Helens wilderness. Some were packing rifles. Some brought elephant guns because apparently you need, like, safari level firepower to bring down a fucking Bigfoot.
I mean, if they had heard about them firing just regular shots at these things and they weren't getting taken down, I think that's logical. We need more firepower.
That's pretty valid. Yeah, the papers dubbed this the Great Ape Hunt of 1924. And apparently, like, a dude from England even showed up for all this. So it became like an international thing, I guess. So that's fun. Now, spoiler alert, no one shot a Bigfoot, which is a bummer. But one cool thing to come from the attack is that the canyon where the men made their stand against the evil Sasquatches is now officially known as Ape Canyon. It got its name because of this incident, which is pretty cool, I guess.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, why name anything after, I don't know, some fucking politician when you can name it after a fucking cool ape extravaganza that happened where people almost died? That's way cooler.
Right? Now, at the same time that the news broke about the attack in the papers and everyone decided to go into the woods looking for Bigfoot, Ranger William Welch and John Huffman hiked up to the site to investigate. Now, they found the cabin where the attack had supposedly been, and it was a little battered, and it was clearly abandoned in a hurry, but not the war zone that the men in the papers made it out to be. Like, they found, a couple of rocks. So they found some footprints, but nothing crazy. They didn't find any blood, no hair, and there's no body at the bottom of the canyon where Beck claimed that he shot one and it fell. Who knows?
I'm going to need blood and hair, baby. I'm going to need blood and hair.
Well, there was none of that. But maybe the Bigfoots, maybe they do like maybe if one of them dies, they know and they like hide the body. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. That's just Bigfoot rule. That's
maybe.
Law.
Now,
hide the body.
To the Rangers, it just looked like five men like scared themselves into a frenzy and then just fucked off. Like there was no like real evidence. Now, back home, the locals didn't buy it either. They figured that the men were just pussies and got spooked by a bear, or they were pranked by locals that were just throwing rocks at them from the canyon. And they pretty much just got roasted about it in the papers and by local police. Also, turns out that these five miners, for some, like, they were like, what's the word? Spiritualists. Like they were already a big believer in like the paranormal. Like they did like seances and like weird shit like that. So
all right, this is lining up. For a second I was thinking these motherfuckers were tripping, right? Like they drank a bunch of ayahuasca. They did some crazy shit and they're like the apes.
Yeah, so they were already kind of, the locals were already primed to not believe their story when they got back because who the fuck knows what was going on. But yeah, they did like seances. They did all these fucking ghost shit. Like, so not the most credible witnesses or storytellers, I guess. But still, every witness said that the men looked genuinely terrified when they came back down the mountain. But again, that could just be the fact that they were probably fucking tripping balls and just had a really bad trip.
The boy on DMT who cried ape, you know what I'm saying?
But even with like the skepticism and jokes, like the story of Ape Canyon is still talked about to this day. Fred Beck, the one who claimed he shot the one off the side of the cliff, he doubled down on what happened, and he insisted until his death that it was all true, that something real attacked them up there. Now, in 1967, this is like obviously this is like 40-something years after the ordeal, Beck self-published a short book called called "I Fought the Ape Man of Mount St. Helens." It repeated the whole night in detail.
Really on the nose.
It repeated the whole night in detail, but with a new twist. Are you ready for this? Now, Beck suggested that the creatures weren't just physical animals, but possibly interdimensional beings. He thought that they could move between planes of existence, part of a spiritual realm, he said, and that his group's shooting one might have triggered the assault. And if I'm not mistaken, this is where the whole like Bigfoot is interdimensional like stuff came from. It came from this encounter.
Okay.
I think this is the first mention of it.
Cool.
Then when Mount St. Helens erupted in 1980, Ape Canyon was buried under like layers of just ash and fucking rock and shit. But in the years that followed, cryptid hunters, historians, and true believers all went like looking for proof that the cabin ever even existed. And in 2013, a team led by Bigfoot investigator Mark Mersel, I think is how you pronounce his name, I don't care, claimed they found it, or what was left of it. They found like some rusted nails, broken stovepipe. They found some spent rifle cartridges scattered amongst the dirt. Like, it wasn't definitive proof of a monster devil's attack, but it was something.
Sure.
And today hikers still trek through Ape Canyon, and people tell the story all the time. Now, whether you think the miners fought a family of Sasquatches, or they got pranked by locals, or hallucinated after too many nights in the woods, it's a fun story. Like, I mean, I don't buy it, but it's fun. But, you know, there you go, Colby. That is the story of the Battle of Ape Canyon, I guess. I don't know what you want to call it. How are we feeling about it?
Yeah. Pretty cool. I'm definitely leaning towards interdimensional, you know, in any scenario, if we could just take it to the absolute millionth degree, it gets my pants tight.
That's where we're going. You're gonna go interdimensional.
Yeah, I mean, because the only other route is to say, honestly, until the end of the story, I didn't even think that some locals were pranking them, and they're just like, you know, these fucking hippies. Let's throw rocks at them.
But even if that's the case of it, locals pranking them, that means that Beck shot two dudes. He just like two counts of attempted murder. Beck's a psychopath, dude.
Which also holds some pretty cool weight in my eyes. You know, a dude should be arrested.
Yeah.
But you know, it could go either way. I like the both extremes. I'm sure it was somewhere in the middle, logically. But my sci-fi mind, you know,
just
wants
goes
it to be something interdimensional.
Straight interdimensional. I feel like it's probably a combination of since they were like spiritualists, they probably fucking did some weird trippy shit, and then locals pranked them. It was like a simultaneous thing.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Combination, yeah.
Like
that makes sense.
Tripping balls, trying to talk to fucking, I don't know, whoever spirit or whatever, and then the locals were like, "Fuck these dudes," and then just you know, to me that's way funnier.
And then they said, "It's the apes. It's apes. It's interdimensional apes. I know it. I fucking know it."
Can I just say that naming your book "I Fought the Ape Man of Mount St. Helens" is so fucking good.
Yeah.
It's so fucking funny, dude. Goddamn.
But he's negating all of the other, and honestly, shame on you for assuming this ape's gender. You know, what if it was a bunch of ape women? You know,
true.
Or maybe they're sexless interdimensional travelers. You know, they're all asexual hairy beings. Fuck you, Marianne. No, it was a different person, wasn't it? Yeah.
No, yeah. Beck and Marianne were different.
Beck. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And then he went on to, just write a bunch of good indie music. So.
Oh shit. All right, Colby. Well, that's my story. That's all I got. That's it. So you're going.
Good. That's a great story. Thank you for putting that together.
Well, so not the last time, but one of the last times you were on, we did the Hopkinsville Goblins, which is one of my favorite episodes. I don't know if you remember that, where a bunch of little goblins attacked that cabin and the family just started fire. It's basically the same story, but with Bigfoots.
That's why as soon as people start firing, I'm like, yes, naturally. We fire at shit we don't know. Absolutely.
Yeah, as Americans, our one thing is that if we don't understand it, just fucking shoot it, dude.
Shoot it.
Shoot it.
Shoot first, ask questions later. I don't care if it's a goblin or a squatch. It's going down.
Exactly. All right, bud. Yeah. Is there anything? That's it. That's the story. I'm gonna do my thing, and then you can plug your thing, and then we'll end the episode.
Hell yeah.
If you want to follow us on Instagram, you can follow us at Cryptid Cocktail. Follow us on TikTok, Cryptid Cocktail Party. Leave us a 5-star rating and review wherever you can. And yeah, Colby, what do you got going on, bud?
Well, you can follow my band Lanterns on Spotify. We got some social medias. Doing some weird shit on TikTok because we're old as fuck. And yeah, maybe catch a local show. Other than that, yeah, that's what I got.
And to be fair, it's not spelt lanterns. It's lanterns, but there's no vowels.
Yeah, we don't fuck with vowels. So if you fuck with vowels, see you later. We'll fucking see you later, guy. So it's LNTRNS. Send the vowels packing.
To get him out of here. All right. So with that out of the way, do you want to say goodbye? And Sarge normally says goodbye and I love you to the audience, but I figured I'd let you take the reins on this one.
He says I love you.
Yeah, he says goodbye and I love you to the audience. So do you want to do it?
I love you all. That's very sweet, Sarge. Love you, Sarge. Love you, audience. And go have fun. Go find a creature.
Cryptid Cocktail Party. Cryptid Cocktail